About 12 budgeting attempts ago, I believed one obsessively tracked spreadsheet would fix everything. Spoiler alert, it did not. Here's what actually made budgeting work. Budgeting felt like signing a lifelong contract, one where I'd never eat out, never buy clothes, maybe never even laugh again. So I spent years bouncing between bullet journals, budgeting apps, and spreadsheet shame. It always ended with me crying over a bubble tea receipt and cursing the gods of finance. But then, slowly and awkwardly, I learned 5 truths. Truths that didn't involve deprivation, discipline, or dignity erosion. They involved quirks, bops, and accidentally setting aside joy money. This video is about feeling alive while budgeting, because you deserve structure, not suffering. And I wish someone handed me this pep talk on day 1. Budgets that don't reflect you are just lies. When I first started budgeting, I thought success meant a spotless spreadsheet. 0 room for error, 0 printed journals, 0 bubble tea. I treated my finances like I was auditioning for Financial Robot of the Year. I allocated $0 to random fun, chaotic joy, even I'm said, let me buy. No wiggle room, no warm fuzzies, just cold, hard numbers. Spoiler alert, this never ends well. By week 2, I'd exhausted the essentials and felt guilty about a single cookie. That counts as food, I told myself, but the colorful wrapper, not necessary. I ignored a birthday invitation because I couldn't financially justify a $5 card, even though emotionally I needed to connect. I felt controlled by my budget, not empowered by it. And then the receipts came. Half-forgotten noodle takeaways, a random pack of novelty pens, a cafe sketch session that felt emotionally necessary. Suddenly, 0 for fun was never enough. My real budget was hiding in drawer clutter and unlogged emotions. That's when a spark of clarity hit. Budgeting isn't math, it's storytelling. If your budget excludes the things that make you you, it isn't reflecting your life, it's punishing it. So I scrapped rigidity for reality. I added a line titled My Chaotic Joy Fund, with a modest allowance each month. This tiny tweak changed everything. Now, if I want a month-end coffee meetup, a quirky art supply I'll use someday, or a spontaneous pancake date, I have permission. I still track it. I own it. But there's no emotional shame, no space guilt. There's simply intention and ownership. Budgets shouldn't quiet joy. They should widen space for it. They're not walls, they're guardrails. And if your budget doesn't include your humanity, your whims, your mess, your messy heart, it's not honest. It's just numbers pretending to be purpose. Perfectionism breaks budgets before they start. Perfectionism was my biggest obstacle. I believed budgets had to be airtight. No stray receipts, no spontaneity, no grace. Which meant budgets and I were immediate frenemies. One late night takeout request, and I'd spiral into shame and spreadsheet fury. So what happened? I made a plan with no margin, and life happened. A late night emergency bus ride, a surprise tea gift, a broken mug replaced at 2 a.m. My budget collapsed under the weight of real-world stuff and my own unrealistic expectations. I viewed these as personal failures. I told myself, you're just bad with money. But no, I was just bad at giving myself permission to live. Real budgeting doesn't demand perfection. It expects humanity. It expects you to fumble, to overspend, to say, damn it, I need this, and to keep moving forward anyway. So I took off the pressure valve. I added a My Adjustments line for kinder tracking, not stricter judgment. I started treating budgets like playlists. Sometimes they go off script, but you keep vibing. I track because I care, not because I must. And you know what? Awareness beats perfection. I catch things sooner, adjust mid-month, and keep moving. No portfolio is perfect. Even the wealthy rebalance, and you should too. Stopping perfectionism means giving yourself space to grow financially and emotionally. You might overspend, you might overcorrect. Maybe you'll even cry over it, but you'll keep building trust with your money and with your humanity. Spending guilt is just overspending in fancy clothes. Guilt felt holy, like an appropriate reaction to spending money on me. I'd glance at a coffee bag and think, that's $500 you'll regret later. But guilt isn't a consequence, it's evidence you spent without clarity. So I started tracking emotion, not just dollars. Before each spend, I paused and asked, will this support me or distract me? Am I spending to feel something now or to actually move forward later? This simple pause lit a neon sign. The donut would calm me for 5 minutes, but it wouldn't fix my loneliness. The friendly pause reminded me, clarity is the antidote to guilt. I didn't cancel the purchase. I changed the why behind it. An occasional treat became a mindful treat. A stress binge became a moment I needed to face, not filter with bubble tea. Tracking emotions means budgets are living documents. They show not just what was spent, but why. That changes everything. The difference between guilt and clarity: one eats at your self-worth, the other respects it. Community makes budgeting bearable and fun. Budgeting can feel lonely. I spent months hiding my spending failures like embarrassing secrets. I thought budgets were private diaries until I accidentally posted a meme about emotional spending, and people loved it. I realized budget struggles aren't shameful, they're universal. So I invited my audience in. I posted my messy receipts. I shared my guilty splurges. I encouraged others to do the same. Suddenly, budgeting became a party, a community ritual, a shared empathy circle. I'd laugh at someone's 2 online shopping carts night. They'd joke about my emergency boba. We celebrated tiny wins and roasted our wallets together. That connection changed my mindset. Budgeting felt less like punishment, more like teamwork. We encouraged each other. We held each other accountable gently. We gave each other permission to mess up and to keep going. Because budgets aren't isolation, they're invitations. Invitations to peer into your world and feel connected. To know others, see your coffee embarrassments, and raise you a $5 latte. Budgeting became less scary and far more human. So tell me in the comments, what's the funniest or most ridiculous thing you've budgeted poorly, and what did you learn? Let's trade stories, not receipts. Real budgeting isn't spreadsheets and staples. It's messy, emotional, joyful, and sometimes wildly imperfect. It's not about depriving yourself of living. It's about planning your life so that your money and your happiness coexist. For me, that looked like joy funds, pauses, permission, and community. And look, I still have balloon receipts from handmade candle fail weeks, but I trust myself more. I breathe better. I spend from intention more than impulse. You deserve that too. A budget you like, a life you love, and no shame for living both. If you learned something tonight, hit like and subscribe for more wholesome finance messy confessions. Comment, what's the one thing you'd include in your chaotic joy fund? Share. Send this to a friend who thinks budgeting means goodbye fun. Let's rewrite that narrative together.